Good morning, my friends. Happy Wednesday. It's time for another coffee and a card with Barb. With all the beautiful weather we've been having, my allergies are like bing, bing, bing. So I'm going to try not to cough in your ear today. So I have a super fun project for you today. At least I'm excited about it. It features the Layered Thoughts stamp set, which, as you probably know, is one of my favorite stamp sets. And then I'm using a bunch of 2025, 2027 ink colors, which are all on sale. So who doesn't love a fun fold card where some of the products are on sale? I sure do. So I have to tell you guys, I'm really excited about today's card. I wanted to let you know that Carol sent me this card, and I've loved it from day one. And I've always thought, oh my gosh, it would make a great coffee and a card. And so today's the day. Okay, so I am going to turn my camera over and let's get started. So we are using the Layered Thoughts stamp set. How fun is that? Let me move it so you can see it. And this is my $1 million stamp set. So I have a fondness for this stamp set, obviously. And then we are using a bunch of in colors, and all of these are on sale. This is Secret Sea cardstock on sale. This is Cloud Cover cardstock on sale. And the instructions do have the sales price. And if you're watching this later, just know that that sale price is only good through August 31st, 2025. Then I'm using, I wasn't going to use this paper originally, but because it's on sale, I'm using it. This is the Florals in Bloom Designer Series paper. It's got a lot of ink colors in it. And so it's on sale. You can see the other side. I love this cloud cover side. I was really tempted to use this side, but I felt like it needed the florals. And then we've got what our sentiment strip is going to go on. Okay, so let me move all these. And I want to say one other thing. I am using cloud cover ink. However, this ink pad was discontinued. That's why you can't buy all 5 ink pads in the 2025, 2027 ink colors. I know I've covered this before, but I just want to repeat that you can't get this pad anymore. Demonstrators during the pre-order period were able to get them. And there's something about the way the ink interacts with the foam pad. And if you will see on mine that the color is off, but it doesn't really matter because I'm going to be stamping it on the cloud cover cardstock. So I'm not overly worried about that. So in the instructions, I have added the Classic Ink Spots assortment number 1 because there is a cloud cover ink spot. You can also make your own. And at the beginning of the catalog, I had a deal where if you buy the cloud cover ink refill, I will send you a free blank ink spot and then you just re-ink it. I have some left. So if you guys are interested in that, please private message me and we'll talk about it because I think I have like 5 ink spots left. So if you are a customer, not a demonstrator, if you are a customer, then let me know and I'll be happy to send you one. Does that answer everybody's questions about the cloud cover ink pad? I'm just using this today because it's faster. So when I want the accurate color, I do pull out my ink spot. And it's very easy to use. You just turn your stamp upside down. The ink spot is actually about half this size. It's the same ones that come in the paper pumpkin. It's a square. And so you just turn your stamp upside down and you just ink it. Ooh, it's going to stick. You just ink it that way. So it's easy, easy, easy. I will say that the reason the ink spots work is they have linen pads, not foam pads. And that was where the problem came in. Okay, so I am going to start with my cloud cover cardstock. I've gone ahead and pre-scored it. The measurements are in the instructions. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue the secret C into the center of the cloud cover. And I actually have this backwards. Now, one of the things that I will say is I gave you the scoring measurements, but what I recommend that you do is you score and fold this one first, and then you come in and you fold it on the score line so that you know that it matches exactly. What will happen, friends, is that sometimes if your cut is just a little bit off, you're going to have a little bit of issues. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my mono glue. You know, I love this stuff because I can move it around. And I kind of want to go towards the bottom. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this in, and I want to make sure that it's equal top to bottom, which this is not. And because I'm using the liquid glue, I have time to work. Let me just move this over a little bit. It's hard to do this on camera. It's really easy to do when you can put your head right over the cardstock. Okay, I think I'm going to go with that, even though it's not totally centered. Now, obviously, we can't write on the inside of this card, so I cut a 3x3 piece of basic white, and I am just going to glue this right here. So if you're not real sure about your cutting, you could cut this down to 2 3/4 by 2 3/4. That would be easier in terms of lining it up. And I'm going to put it right against that edge and put it so that it's not going to show when I close that flap. And now I have somewhere to either stamp another message or write another message. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to glue down the designer paper. You've got the measurements. This is not a blue. This is a very, very gray blue, which is why I love it, because it's very cool. I'm just putting small drops of glue. And then you have two choices. You could center it, or you could do what I'm going to do, and I'm going to put it right against the fold. And it's going to leave a little bit of the edge showing. Now, this is totally up to you. If you don't cut your paper perfectly straight, like I haven't, you're going to have trouble lining it up. But, you know, go for it. And make sure that it's the right side up. I almost did that backwards. And then I'm going to add this piece on. And again, the dimensions are in the instructions. And I'm going to layer this one. Now, in the instructions, I did this side in the center so you could see what it would look like, but I really like it against the edge. I think it just, see how that makes it go right against the edge on the card? I really like that. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp the thanks. Isn't this an easy fun fold? Carol, I love this card. Now, again, this is not the correct color of cloud cover, but it's not really going to matter because I probably should tap this off. And I'm going to stamp this. Can you guys see what I'm doing? I'm going to stamp this a little bit to the left instead of in the center. And you'll see why in a minute. Okay, there we go. Close my ink pad. So see, that's kind of dark. And then I'm going to bring something in that I did previously, because if you guys had to watch me cut this on camera, you would die. This is the silver foil paper. I cut it out with the smallest circle from the stylish shaped dies. And then I stamped on a scratch paper the U, and I cut it out with scissors. And what we're going to do is this is going to hold down, this is going to hold shut our card. So I've only put half of a Stampin' Dimensional on the right side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to line up where I think I want this. And I want this right about there. So let me go ahead. Oh, I need my take your pick tool, friends. Hold on. Now, I did double dimensionals just to make sure that it really was high enough to hold it down. So I just cut a Stampin' Dimensional in half, and I'll show you on the side so you could see. See? So it's stacked. Here's one, here's two. And then I'm going to line that up. Let's see, where do I want this? I think I'm going to put this right here. So I'm going to put that first. Make sure that it's down and straight, which, as we know, is a problem for me. And then I want to make sure that I'm only putting glue right to about here. So I'm going to hold my finger down, because otherwise I get glue where I don't want glue. And I am putting a lot of small dots of glue because I really want it to be secure and to hold. And it's better to do a lot of small dots than a bunch of big dots. Okay, so let's line this up. I want this right about there. Okay. This, I guess you would say this is the hardest part, but honestly, it's not hard at all. There we go. And that is going to hold our card shut. I got to be able to show it to you, though. Oh, I did get the U crooked. Darn it. I am so good at that. I think I can keep turning the... There we go. So there's the card, and it opens like this. And, you know, on second thought, I don't think I would do double dimensionals because it pops up a little much. And if you find your card doing that, just turn it over and really, really, really give it a good crease. And that will help. Okay. So there we have our finished card. Isn't that fun? Oh, all right, my friends. I will see you next week. Talk to you soon. Have a great rest of your week. Talk to you later. Bye.